Well, greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to the best damn movie-related show on the planet Earth, the John Campea Show podcast, coming to you from right here in our quaint little studio. I'm, of course, your host, John Campea. I'm joined in studio today by Ray Ora.
Hey!
Johnathan Boyko.
Hey, guys, what's up?
Chris Carr is here.
Back!
And most importantly, you guys are here. Thank you so much for being here and making our little show part of your day. And here's how today's show is going to go. We're going to start off by talking about a few predetermined topics that we have lined up for you guys. Then in the second part of the show, we're going to take your live comments and questions. If you have a thought, theory, opinion, or question you'd like us to address, go ahead and fire it on into our tip link at www.streamelements.com/JohnCampea/tip. And as long as we deem it appropriate to be addressed on our show, we'll address it in the second part of the show. Also, want to let you guys know, again, thank you to everybody who sent out. I literally got thousands of messages from you guys. So thank you so much for your well wishes and kind words and condolences and stuff like that. I'm not going to lie. It hit me about 20 minutes ago that today will be the first show that I do here in my studio that my mom's not watching. And that... So it might be a bit of a train wreck today. I'm not going to lie to you. It might be a little bit of a train wreck today, but my mom loved this show. She loved watching it. And so we're going to do it. And I'm so glad you guys are here to join us on that journey. All right. With all that down, guys, let's start off with this, shall we? A little while ago, a report came out that would have been really smart. It was a report that came out that said that Marvel was looking at recasting Black Panther and actually bringing back T'Challa, not Black Panther's son, no, but actually bringing back T'Challa and recasting it. Now, when we talked about it, this is why I get a lot of people asking, John, how come some stories you like go overboard on reminding everybody that this isn't verified? Well, here's why. We did at the time mention to everybody that the story had not yet been verified, that the story was not confirmed by Marvel. And now Marvel Studios executive Nate Moore is saying that there was no truth to it. Well, sort of. Anyway, this comes to us from Deadline, who said the following. Marvel Studios executive Nate Moore denies the rumors that Black Panther 3 will recast T'Challa in the live-action role that Chadwick Boseman originated. Sort of, because it goes on to say this. In a new interview, the Black Panther producer said that the superhero role was not being recast following the rumors on social media. The truth is, Nate Moore said, there's no truth to those rumors. Never say never to anything, and we haven't really had a lot of creative conversations with Ryan Coogler yet because he's finishing his film Sinners, which comes out this year, Moore told comicbook.com. We'll get into it later this year, but everything you've read online is not true. If for no other reason, then we just haven't started working on it. All right. So this reminds me a little bit, and I'm not saying it's the exact same scenario. I'm just saying it reminds me of this a bit. A couple of months ago, there was a story that came out that a certain movie was being rushed to VOD and had a VOD release date. So we talked about it on the show. That studio then contacted me to say, hey, we haven't confirmed that. We haven't said that that's happening. Can you do a retraction? And I said to them, are you telling me that movie is not coming out on VOD that day? And they said, well, no, we're not saying that. And I said, well, I'm not doing a retraction. If you tell me you're not releasing it on that day, we'll do a retraction. Guess what? Movie came out on VOD that day. So, and this is a little bit of Nate Moore. It's saying it without saying it, right? He's saying, oh, there's no truth to that report. Oh, so you're saying you're not recasting Black Panther? Well, no, we're not saying that. We're saying we haven't even started having our conversations about it. And that, I believe, especially with Ryan Coogler working so hard on Sinners, which looks amazing, by the way. It looks great. But that would mean that the initial report that came out wasn't true. And then remember, all those other outlets ran those subsequent reports saying, oh, we know who they already offered the role to. Remember that? Like all those stories started going around. It's like, I don't believe those, so we didn't even run them. But like a bunch of other people started claiming, we know there's these 3 people that they already offered the role to, which turned into the 6 people that Marvel have already offered the role to. And so has already turned it down. Yeah, apparently none of those were true either. Look, I still think after the years have passed, it was still a mistake, a well-intentioned mistake, but a mistake nonetheless, for Marvel not to recast T'Challa. T'Challa is just too important of a character. And I still think there is a very valid chance that they walk it back and they do indeed recast T'Challa. But they haven't even started working on this movie yet. So that would make sense. I mean, all we know for sure, Chris, is that Denzel Washington's going to be part of it.
Yeah.
Because he confirmed that. So we know that.
And then apologized for confirming it.
And then apologized for confirming it. My bad.
Whoops.
So I don't know. What do you think about what Nate said? Do you think he's covering his bases a little bit by saying, well, hey, listen, it's not true yet. We haven't started talking about it yet. Do you think there's still a possibility they could recast, or do you think they've truly moved on from that now?
I think they're still going to recast. I think this is just kind of a due diligence PR statement of, whoa. We haven't fully come out and said any of these things officially, but we're probably going to do it. This just has always felt like a where there's smoke, there's fire kind of situation. Right? And after so many years, I feel like you do have to bring T'Challa back into the mix here because that character is just so important. He's so important to this film or this film series and everything. I think you need to have him back in here. You know, listening to E-Man's reviews and everything has made such a great case for why we need T'Challa and why he needs to be in this franchise.
And specifically, we're talking about T'Challa, not T'Challa Jr.
Yes,
they're two different characters.
Yeah. I don't need mini T'Challa. I don't need T'Challa who's aged up a la Lion-O from Thundercats. I don't need any of that. I want that character back in here. And I was one of the people too who at the time totally understood why they did this and thought it was a very respectful thing to move on from Boseman and not have that character in there. But now I've really come around to this character needs to be back in the mix. And I think Disney would be pretty foolish to not fully bring this character back.
This is something that Marvel wouldn't keep under wraps, right? Until like the first trailer drops, because they would have to do like the media interviews and stuff.
It would be impossible. Like if they actually did get around to recasting the character, there's no way they'd be able to keep that under wraps, like all the way until the first trailer came out. Like they just wouldn't be able to do it. I mean, in today's world where every single person walks around with a global telecommunications device, it would be next to impossible for them to do. Because remember, we're not talking about a cameo. We're not talking about which they can do. They can keep those secret, but something as big as the recasting of T'Challa, if it's going to happen, we'll find out. Question is for you guys. What do you think about this? Nate Moore, producer on Black Panther, is saying, oh, wait, no, we haven't decided we're going to recast Black Panther. We haven't decided we're not. But what do you think ultimately is going to happen here? Do you think they will eventually recast the character, or do you think, they've already moved on from it, a la Black Panther 2? They're just going to continue on that. Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to this, shall we? Yesterday, of course, was the truly awful trailer launch of Fantastic Four. I didn't think the trailer was awful. I just thought the launch event was awful. But we're not here to talk about that. I thought the trailer was pretty good. It not the best trailer Marvel's ever put out, not the best trailer of the year. I thought it was pretty good. But at any rate, one of the big questions that came out in it was when John Malkovich's character came walking out of the shadows, all gray beard, looking like Gandalf, and ready to cast some spells. And the question has been, who is that? Who is that guy? Who is that character that John Malkovich is going to be playing in this movie? Now, the one that's been speculated that I don't think is going to be the case, that a bunch of people said was Mole Man. I don't think it's going to be Mole Man. He doesn't look like anything like how I would picture Mole Man. That doesn't mean it can't be him, though. But I got to think about who could he be. So, I want to propose 6 potential options of who John Malkovich could be. And then I'm going to throw it over to Chris to tell us who it's going to be in her more expert opinion. So here are the possibilities that I see. These are the 6 possibilities. First of all, Puppet Master. Alicia Master's dad. Now, remember, there were reports of maybe a Puppet Master coming into the mix at some point, maybe. So in the story, Puppet Master, he's got a weird power. Like he makes these clay figures out of people, and then he can control those people through his clay. It's kind of like a voodoo thing.
But they're radioactive clay puppets.
Yes,
for
so it's
reasons.
kind of magic for reasons. But it is a possibility because we do have Ben Grimm. We kind of saw in that first trailer that Ben Grimm really is struggling with what he is now, because he talks about how I'm the most handsome, and then you see him looking at himself in the glass. I thought that was a great moment in the trailer, by the way.
This man, this monster.
Yeah, I really did like that part of the trailer. So maybe Alicia Masters being a part of this could play in there. So maybe John Malkovich is that. So option one, and these are in no particular order, is maybe he's Puppet Master. Option two, Nathaniel Richards. Reed Richards' father, who, and this is why this becomes a possibility. Reed Richards' father moves in and out of time and lives in alternate dimensions and all this. At one point, even tried to kidnap Franklin. But so the reason I think that becomes a possibility of Nathaniel Richards, Reed's dad, is because at some point, multiverse and multidimension stuff has to come into play, because as we all speculate, by the end of Fantastic Four, they're not going to be in their universe anymore. Hell, their universe may not even exist anymore. And somehow, some way, through the magic of Marvel, the Fantastic Four are going to be moved over into Earth 616, also known as the Marvel Cinematic Universe, aka the Sacred Timeline. And so maybe a character like Nathaniel Richards, Reed's dad, being a multidimensional time hopping kind of character, maybe he could be the doorway for that. So perhaps he's Nathaniel Richards. All right. Third guy he could be. Seen a bunch of people speculate this one. Red Ghost. Red Ghost is a product of a bygone era. The commies are coming. So he wanted to beat the fantastic, he wanted to set up a moon base, something like that. Basically, he put himself into space with a bunch of monkeys because he wanted to get the same kind of cosmic ray powers that the Fantastic Four got. He was also in like a what was the name of that team? It wasn't Fantastic Four. It was like the Nasty Four or the Filthy Four. I can't remember what it was, but he was in like one of these. He was in a super villain group as well. And of course, like in the image you just saw Johnathan put up there, he's got the gray hair. The Frightful Four. Raymond Verrata knew it. It wasn't the Nasty Four.
The Nasty Four. That's
Nasty
canon in this
Four.
movie theater now.
That's a different movie.
So
That's nasty.
now, this movie in this other dimension takes place in like their 1960s, which would be maybe at the height of their Cold War. So maybe having but does the Ruski, is that a storyline that plays today? I don't know, maybe. So that's a possibility, Red Ghost. All right, so the first one I said possibility was Puppet Master. Second was Nathaniel Richards. Third, Red Ghost. Fourth, Franklin Storm. Sue and Johnny's dad.
Deadbeat dad.
Deadbeat dad. Now, the reason I think this one is a possibility is because it maybe looks like, if you look at that picture of John Malkovich, maybe it looks like, maybe it looks like he's in a prison. He's in a cell. Their dad was a convict. And maybe perhaps he comes out and I don't know. So, but it does raise the possibility that maybe he's Franklin Storm. All right. The fifth possibility I want to throw out there is Sue and Reed's son, Franklin Richards.
Oops, wrong shot. There you go.
Arguably the most powerful being ever to live and exist in the Marvel Universe. So I think, technically speaking, I don't think they've changed this, Chris. He's a mutant. Mm-hmm. Sue and Reed aren't mutants, but regular humans have kids, and sometimes those kids are mutants. He's a mutant who like can create entire universes.
Yeah, he's got like some Scarlet Witch like
on
Omega
steroids,
things.
kind of
it's
thing.
Wild.
There's an awesome, one of my favorite single frames to get a sense of the power of Franklin Richards. There's one of these awesome frames where where Galactus he usually has a what is Silver Surfer to him? He is his
He's a harbinger.
He's a harbinger, right? Mm-hmm. The herald. That's the word I was saying. The herald of things. So, there are those frames and those in comics where Galactus, to me, my herald, or to me, there's this awesome frame of Franklin Richards who has made Galactus his bitch. And he's like, to me, my Galactus. Like, he's basically Galactus. It's like one of the coolest oh, there it is. Johnathan got it. Like, it's one of the truly, you want to know how powerful this guy is. He's got Galactus on a leash. So there's a possibility with all the reality warping and all the powers that Franklin Richards had. Maybe he's an older version. There's a little bit of a Cable storyline in there.
Yeah.
You know, where Cable gets plucked out of time and then comes back to see his parents, only he's way older than his parents now. So I don't know, maybe there's a Franklin Richards. So that's the fifth option. Chris, I said I'm presenting you with 6 options.
Mm-hmm.
Your first 5 are Puppet Master, Nathaniel Richards, Red Ghost, Franklin Storm, Franklin Richards. Your 6th option is
it Molecule Man?
anybody else.
Oh, okay.
Anybody else.
All right.
So out of those 6 options, what do you think is the most likely? And would you have some other names we should be adding to this list?
I mean, of the ones you gave me, I feel like the Red Ghost one, honestly, is the one that suits what they're doing with this movie the most. Because it is a bygone era, right? We're doing the 1960 space race in a different kind of dimension. And so I feel like that would make sense. There's also speculation that John Malkovich is going to be playing multiple people. And he's going to be from different various universes. So he could also be any of these people.
That's true.
The thing I saw, though, that got me the most excited, and I don't know if it would actually happen, but it's just how cool would it be if you got Malkovich to play that? And that's to have him be Molecule Man.
Right.
And have him help tee up Secret Wars. Now, do I think that is likely? No. But do I want it? Yes. But I like Red Ghost. I like the idea of him being, either of the dads. I think that works really well too. It'd be hilarious to have him be Mole Man, but I feel like Red Ghost is the most convenient for the narrative that we've seen being presented to us so far. But give me
right now,
Molecule Man.
without any other basis of information other than the quick 1.5 second shot we see of him, I'm going to lean into Nathaniel Richards, Reed's dad.
Yeah.
Just simply because of the reality, like the multiple dimension sort of thing. That ties into what we theorize might be a part.
I can tell you who he's not playing.
Blade?
Whistler.
yeah. Although he looks like
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I was like, is that
right?
Whistler? But yeah, I like Molecule Man. I do like the dad.
Yeah.
I do
dad
like
thing?
those
That
two.
makes sense.
Man,
Marcus-
what if he is Whistler and this is the beginning of bringing Blade in?
Yeah, it could
Oh,
be.
dear.
Marcus in the chat said it might be Pastebot Pete.
Pisspot Pete.
Or
Oh,
Socrates.
there's an old one going back to that.
Yeah.
Pisspot Pete. Anyway, guys, question is for you. We got that shot of John Malkovich, but who is he playing? Do you have a theory? Do you like one of the options that I presented? Do you think it could be somebody else? Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to this, shall we? We are now just like 8 days away from Captain America: Brave New World hitting theaters. Now, one of the big question marks that people like me have had is, tell me how somebody fights a Hulk. Because, as last time I checked, Anthony Mackie didn't take the Super Soldier Serum. And even with the Super Soldier Serum, you might be able to last a little while. Maybe you can go a couple of rounds with Hulk, but you ain't lasting too long. But Anthony Mackie's character does not have the Super Soldier Serum. So a lot of people, including me at one point, kind of speculated that maybe at some point in Captain America: Brave New World, Sam Wilson realizes, to be Cap, I need the Super Soldier Serum. To face the threats that people like me and maybe the Avengers are going to face, I'm going to need to be more than what I am, regardless of the Iron Man suit. Let's face it, the new Falcon outfit is an Iron Man suit. That's all it is. It's just got wings. And so a lot of people, like I said, including me, thought there was a pretty good chance that in this movie at some point, I know a lot of our viewers even wrote in on the show saying he's going to get the Super Soldier Serum this movie. Well, according to Anthony Mackie, that's not going to happen. And he doesn't think Sam's ever going to take the Super Soldier Serum. This comes to us from comicbookmovie.com. Writes, despite that, Mackie doesn't see things changing for him moving forward. Mackie said, yeah, I don't think he will take it, he told the site. I think if you look at Sam is every man's Captain America. You know, so the idea of him just being a regular guy that's been thrust into this position of leadership is something that we all can identify with, something that we can all relate to. So I think it's important for him not to get the serum, because then that takes him out of the realm of the possibility of any of us being Captain America. All right. So when I read those comments, my first thought goes back to The Dark Knight Rises, when, you know, anybody can be Batman sort of thing, which is true. I mean, that's part of Batman's appeal, right? He's just a regular guy who happens to be super rich, who can fight Superman. By the way, side note, on the flight coming back from Toronto, the 6-hour flight coming back from Toronto yesterday, out of nowhere, I decided to rewatch Batman versus Superman. Don't know why. You know what?
I don't either.
I still stand by that movie. I still like that movie. I enjoyed it. I was only turned it on just so I could watch the opening scene with Bruce saving the little girl and developing his hate on for Superman, because I think that's the second greatest opening of any superhero movie ever. Only second to X-Men 2 with Nightcrawler attacking the White House. At any rate. But at the end of, you know, or in Batman Dark Knight Rises, they have that whole thing where anybody can be Batman. So I get that. I get the sentiment. But I don't see Captain America that way. Captain America is not anybody can be Captain America, because he's Captain America. And by the way, not anybody can be Sam Wilson. Sam Wilson is a very exceptional individual in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But that aside, I still kind of think that it would be very wise for Sam at some point to get the super soldier serum if he's going to be Captain America. Now, again, I understand his thinking here, and maybe that's the thinking of Marvel and Kevin Feige as a whole. Something to distinguish Sam from Steve. Mm-hmm. And you know what? That's a good argument. Yeah. You want something very clear that Sam isn't just Steve 2.0. He's very different. For example, he wears an Iron Man suit and doesn't have the super soldier serum. I get that argument. I still think if he's going to be a superhero in the Marvel Cinematic Universe that can face threats like Red Hulk or something like that, it seems to me he should take it at some point, but who knows? Chris, 2 questions. Mm-hmm. Do you think at some point, I mean, Anthony Mackie doesn't think so, but do you think at some point that maybe they will have Sam get the super soldier serum? And then number 2, do you think they should have Sam get the super soldier serum or not? How do you see it?
I don't think that he should ever be given it.
Okay.
At least not this iteration of it. And I don't think he would take it. I feel like this goes against Sam's entire moral compass, honestly. He's seen up close that if you aren't Saint Steve Rogers, what this serum can do to you. Because it amplifies what's already within you, right? Mm-hmm. That was a concern about who you picked for the first Captain America, too. It's not going to just make them strong. It's also potentially going to fuel their rage if they have it, like we've seen with Walker. He's seen that up close and personal. He's seen what it's done to Bucky. Obviously, Bucky's a very different example because there's also brainwashing and Russian collusion. But he's seen how this works. Also, after meeting Isaiah Bradley, this version of the serum that's available that was experimented on in an incredibly unlawful and dangerous and cruel way on a series of black men, Sam Wilson is not going to take that drug. Especially with all of his work that he does too with veterans who have gone through the atrocities of war. I feel like the way that we have this particular serum right now as it is, it would not be what Sam Wilson would willingly put into his veins. Now, a different version of something, some other MacGuffin pops up, some other thing happens to him that amplifies his powers or gives him something. It's just this particular serum as it stands right now, I don't think he would take.
Infused adamantium.
Boom, there we go.
But not Wolverine.
He's going to go to Tiamat and he's going to go, let's go, make my bones strong.
By the way, I know I harp on this all the time, but I'm really, really hoping my biggest fear, I know other people have different worries, but my personal biggest fear about Captain America Brave New World is, especially from the trailers, and I acknowledge I've been saying this for a long time, I am so over the Marvel Cinematic Universe just becoming about different people with different versions of an Iron Man suit. I mean, we're getting Ironheart, Spider-Man basically. Now they're moving away from it, thankfully, but Spider-Man became Iron Man Jr. with his own Iron Man suit. The Dora Milaje now have Iron Man suits. Who else was there?
Scrap my Hawkeye Iron Man suit idea then, John.
So I'm hoping it's not just all about another suit. I don't know. So maybe that's
Sure.
why, because I think you make some very good arguments, Chris. And
I know I
I
do.
think you're right. I just want them to move away from everything being, I've got an Iron Man kind of suit and therefore I'm a superhero.
Sure.
It didn't really surprise me though, because in this last TV spot we had, he has that quip where he says to himself, "I should have taken that serum."
Yeah.
You know, but like, you know, he's just kind of joking with himself. So
Yeah.
that kind of confirms, like, nah, he's set. He ain't doing that.
Exactly.
All right, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? Anthony Mackie's saying, hey, if you're going into Captain America Brave New World thinking you're going to see Sam get the super soldier serum, it's not happening. And I don't think it's ever going to happen. How do you feel about that? Do you think that's a good thing to distinguish him from the other Captain America? Do you think he should get it? Do you think something else happens to him? Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, we still have a bunch of other things we need to talk about, including the showrunner for Star Wars Skeleton Crew says he's already got it mapped out what he wants to do with season 2. There's a rumor going around that Marvel is actually considering bringing back Jonathan Majors as Kang, and the first trailer for the new Jurassic World movie has dropped. What did we think about it? We're going to talk about that and a few things more. But before we do, we're going to take a quick second and thank one of the sponsors of today's episode of the John Campea Show podcast, our friends at Hungryroot. Guys, we want to take a second and thank a sponsor of today's video, Hungryroot. You know, grocery shopping used to be one of the biggest struggles. Between your busy schedule and wanting to eat healthier, it just feels impossible to stay on top of everything. But all that changes when you discover Hungryroot, the easiest way to eat healthy without the hassles. Hungryroot is like having your own personal grocery shopper. They take care of the weekly shopping for you, recommending healthy, high-quality groceries tailored to your tastes, nutritional preferences, and even health goals. They've got it all: smoothies, snacks for the kids, ready-to-eat meals, and even supplements. For me, Hungryroot is absolutely a game changer, guys. My health goals have become so much easier to stick to. I love how they personalize my cart every week and even get smart about my preferences as I go. It's honestly stress-free and so simple. You're gonna love Hungryroot as much as I do. Take advantage of this exclusive offer. For a limited time, get 40% off your first box, plus get a free item in every box for life. Go to hungryroot.com/Campea and use the code Campea. That's hungryroot.com/Campea, using the code Campea to get 40% off your first box and a free item of your choice for life. hungryroot.com/Campea, code Campea. And thank you to our friends at Hungryroot for sponsoring today's episode of the John Campea Show podcast. All right, guys, with that down, let's move on to this. You know, one of my favorite TV viewing experiences this year has been watching Star Wars Skeleton Crew. And oh my God, did they need that win? Because Star Wars has not exactly been delivering the goods when it comes to Disney Plus. Yeah, a few good hits, like with Mandalorian. Andor was fantastic and everything. But in the midst of all that, you got Book of Boba Fett, you got Obi-Wan, you got Ahsoka. I mean, it's just a lot of crap too. And I thought Star Wars Skeleton Crew was delightful and charming and wonderful in so many great ways. Now, the questions could become, are they going to get a season 2? Because as expected, and everybody expected this, the debut numbers for Skeleton Crew were pretty low. Thanks a lot, Acolyte. But the debut numbers for Skeleton Crew were pretty low. Now, the question is going to become, as we wait over the next coming weeks as further viewership data comes out, did the viewership go up, which we heard it did, but we haven't seen the numbers, or does it stay pretty low, pretty much taking out any chances for a season 2? Well, the showrunner for Skeleton Crew, John Watts, who, by the way, directed the 3 Tom Holland Spider-Man movies and Wolves with Brad Pitt and George Clooney. He's terrific. He just did an interview with TV Line, and he said they've already got the second season planned out. This comes to us from Geek Tyrant, who wrote this. They recently teased their plans for season 2 in an interview with TV Line, with Watts saying, "We know exactly what we would want the show, what we would want to show. We have figured all of that out. With the secret planet of At-Aden no longer a secret and the supervisor having been destroyed by Julaw's Nawud, its residents will be forced to shed themselves of the isolationism that had been dictating their entire lives for generations. As Ford explained, what's so fun about it is At-Aden has lost its protective nest, its childhood. the planet gets to be an awkward teenager. On their adventure, Wim, Fern, KB, and Neil learn about the wider Star Wars galaxy, and now their parents will have to go through the shock of learning about what life is like outside of Aden. Watts added, the parents now have to grow up, which is an interesting wrinkle to the concept we explored in the first season. All right. So the finale of Skeleton Crew left me very much with where's season 2? Because now what happens next? Here's my argument against doing a season 2, though. The whole premise of the show was this amazing callback to 80s Amblin Entertainment, you know, Goonies in the Star Wars universe, the kids' adventure, all that kind of stuff. If they were to go in season 2, and I'm not saying I don't want it, I'm just saying, if they were to do a season 2, it sounds like all that's in the rearview mirror now. Now it's about the planet. It's about Aden. It's about the families. It's about the parents. It's about where does this fit in the overall Star Wars galaxy now? And to me, that's kind of not what season 1 was. Season 1 was just really focused on these kids and that Goonies-like adventure. And now that that adventure is done, can you recapture that magic? Now, look, I'm never going to count out John Watts. If he thinks he has an idea that he's excited about and he thinks will work, guess what? Everything he's done so far has worked. So if he thinks he's got an idea that'll work, I'll definitely get on board with it and give the benefit of the doubt. But Chris, I have to admit, as much as I loved Skeleton Crew, part of me wonders if it's good enough to say season 1 was it. It was a limited series. It's a wonderful story, but the story's over. I don't know. How do you feel about it? And what do you think about what he said about the possibility of a season 2?
But is the story over, John? Is it?
Is it ever over?
Because we left at a place where I went, okay, but what about blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot you can still do here. And plus you can also kind of work backwards too. We don't have to dive right in for where we left off. We can do a little bit of, okay, let's expand on Johnathan and find out more about that Jedi training he had and everything, not just his aside. We can break down some of that information. What happens to Jod now that he's on this planet and his crew is all gone, right? What happens to this entire civilization that has had the rug pulled out from underneath them of, oh, our entire way of living is so different than what we thought it was. Like, yes, all of these adults were aware that they were being ruled over by AI, right? They understood that. But all of the things outside of the galaxy, that is such a shock to the system. I love the description here about how the whole planet goes through the awkward teenager phase. I think this could be a really compelling dynamic and also give the parents here more of an opportunity, like we saw in that final episode of, okay, well, when do you really helicopter your kid and when do you let go of those reins and go, hey, you're actually teaching me something. And I think that can create some really fun dynamics. We still also have Wim really dealing with, hey, my entire view of heroes has been wildly disrupted. What did happen with the Jedi? How did this happen? Once they find out about all the things that have been going on in the galaxy, I think there's so much you can mine from here. I don't want this to be a endless show that they continue doing and doing and doing. I'd like them to take kind of a BBC approach of let's figure out 3 seasons for this show. And that way we can tell this story, wrap up all these other plot holes, and not get into the kids, you know, going off to college or something. I don't want Saved by the Bell, the new class. I want them to stay kids, have some more Goonie adventures, but let's bring the parents and the planet into the mix.
I want
One
a
of the
heavy
new class kids.
You did?
Yeah, high
Which
school.
one?
He was the one who was playing the new Zach. He wore the leather jacket.
Oh, so
yeah.
that you know he was a bad boy.
Yeah.
See,
Yeah.
I want a serious issue-oriented episode where Neil loses his virginity and, you know, helping him through that.
Listen, he'd be the first. He got that smooch.
He's got it. So I see the thing I wonder is, how does Aden now integrate into the wider galaxy? What happens with Jaw? None of that is really Skeleton Crew. And what made Skeleton Crew, because Skeleton Crew is about these kids going off on this wide-eyed adventure. So I think there's other Star Wars stories you can tell coming out of this. I just wonder if it would be Skeleton Crew.
You can do like an episode that's split up with a little bit of Jod information to help
What-
flesh things out.
What if, let me pitch an idea.
Okay.
What if, in the midst of Aden finding his place in the galaxy, what if I almost called him Clive Owen. Jude Law.
What if Clyde Owen? What if Clyde Owen? Ooh.
What if Jude Law, who they never catch, seeks out the kids and says, I think I found evidence that my old Jedi Master might still be alive. But I'll never be able to get a ship and get off planet to go out into the galaxy and try to find her or him. I can't remember saying, without your help. And then that becomes the basis of a Skeleton Crew season 2. Do you like that idea, or is that too stretchy?
There's something there, but why would Fern ever trust Jod? Fern would be like, cool, I don't care. You suck. You tried to kill all of us and my mom. Kick rocks.
To be fair, he never tried to kill them.
I mean,
he always threatened
he
it.
threatened.
Yeah, he could have killed them many times.
And this would be a point of contention between them. And go, Fern, I never tried to kill you. I just threatened to kill you. And she'd be like, what's the difference, you piece of shit?
See, if that line was in the
Well, that's
trailer,
the great- that's the best.
what's the difference, you piece of shit?
Yeah.
That would totally sell the show for
Yeah,
everybody.
only they're going to like Star Wars it up. So it'd be like, what's the difference, you poodoo?
Yeah. So I don't know. So Jod this whole time has thought she was dead, and then finds out maybe, I don't know. I'm just grasping at straws here. Guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? The showrunners for Skeleton Crew say they already got it mapped out what they want to do with a second season, but will they get it? And if they did it, would you want it to kind of stay in the spirit of season 1 where it's about the kids going on some kind of adventure, or would you want the wider story stuff? Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comments section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to this, shall we? And in this little section, we're going to call the rumor mill. And just to let you guys know, this story we're about to talk about is just a rumor, not confirmed by anybody, but it brings up some interesting questions, so we'll address it here a little bit. So you guys know that in what was a massive change of direction, the Marvel Cinematic Universe decided to move away from Kang the Conqueror. Now, on paper, it was because Jonathan Majors got himself into some legal trouble, but the issues were bigger than that. The Kang storyline was not working in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. He got beat by Ant-Man. It's hard to be the next Thanos when that's the case. So for a lot of different reasons, they kind of moved off him. And now we've got Doomsday coming, and we've got Secret Wars coming. Well, there's a new rumor going around out there, started by a pretty good outlet, actually, Screen Geek, who is saying that Marvel is actually considering bringing Jonathan Majors back. This comes to us from CBR, who wrote the following. According to Screen Geek, Marvel president Kevin Feige reportedly wants to bring Majors back for a second MCU run. Feige is reportedly willing to rehire Majors for future MCU projects to, quote-unquote, wrap up some loose ends with Kang and close the supervillain's character's story. Film insider Daniel Richman also reposted the rumor on X, though it's important to note that this still has not been officially confirmed by anybody at Marvel Studios. All right. Let me first say this. If Screen Geek is reporting this, it's because somebody did tell them this. Of that, I have no doubt. I just don't know if the person who told them that was accurate. I'll say right up front here, I do not believe this part of the rumor mill at all. I don't believe it makes any sense in the world to bring back Jonathan Majors. Jonathan Majors, who I think is an incredible actor. I cannot wait to see Magazine Dreams. But this whole, especially what gives it away is he's thinking about bringing him back to tie up some loose ends. Mm-hmm. Why would you go through a PR nightmare and circus for something so unimportant as tying up some loose ends? And by the way, there are no loose ends. Loki season 2 definitively ended the Kang story. Mm-hmm. The Kang we knew kind of gets killed, and then it ends with the TVA kind of being repurposed, saying now we're just going around and cleaning up and getting rid of all the last variants of them. And they were already making progress on that. There is no loose ends. It's done. And it's like, it took them a long time because you know what? The whole Jonathan Majors and Kang thing doesn't get brought up much anymore. And it took them a long time to get to this point. Why on earth would Kevin Feige bring that whole situation back up again and bring in Jonathan Majors for what? To just tie up some loose ends? And by the way, if you're Jonathan Majors, would you even do it? It's like, listen, look, Marvel did what they needed to do. They didn't create the situation they were in. Unfortunately, Jonathan Majors' personal life put Marvel and Disney in a PR nightmare, and they said, look, this isn't good for us, so we're going to part ways with you here. You can deal with your stuff, but we can't have it become a Marvel issue. We can't let it be a Marvel issue. But it was still pretty publicly embarrassing to be set up as the big bad in the Marvel Cinematic Universe and then be let go. Are you, if you're Jonathan Majors, actually going to come back to tie up some loose ends? Like, Chris, I could see Jonathan Majors if Kevin Feige and Marvel went back to him and said, you know what? After Secret Wars, we're going to revamp up the entire Kang storyline again. You're going to be the big major bad again. You're going to be featured in like 6 of the films. Maybe then I could see Jonathan Majors going, okay.
Yeah.
But would you really want to come back into that, rehash all the issues again to clean up loose ends? So look, I certainly cannot definitively say that this report isn't true, but I don't believe it for a second. I think it's not good for Jonathan Majors. I think he's trying to move on with everything now. I don't think it's a right move for Marvel.
No.
So I don't buy this for a second. Chris, do you think there's any validity to this?
No, I'm on the same page as you with this one. I just also, all the legal hullabaloo aside, Kang just wasn't performing as that character needed to. We were constantly told about the threat. We didn't witness the threat of Kang. It was just, yep, he's the worst guy in the universe. Okay.
But you know what? Just don't let him near any ants.
Yeah.
Because then he gets all screwed up.
Right. And I understand, like, that wasn't the definitive end of Kang and yada, yada, yada. But it was still he doesn't seem that threatening.
Right.
This is not the on par with Thanos level threat that you have promised he will be. Again, it was just an issue of, you're not showing me any of that. You're not backing up the evidence. You're just presenting the thesis and not exploring it at all. So I don't know why you would bring him back in here. And to do this kind of backpedaling too, honestly, I would just think, what are you guys doing? Do you have a plan? I would be very concerned about what Kevin Feige's overall goals were with the Marvel Universe. If it was, well, we're pivoting to Doom, but we're also going to bring in Kang, and then we're going to do, it would just be more of that spaghetti at the wall kind of stuff.
Yeah, seems so muddled.
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, I think ultimately, now I don't know this. This is me as a fan purely speculating. There's honestly a part of me that really believes that even if the Jonathan Majors personal drama didn't happen, I have a feeling they might have moved away from Kang anyway. I mean, at some point, it wasn't reactionary because they had like 3 major things with Kang. Loki season 1, Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, Loki season 2. It's not like it's some quick knee-jerk reaction. I think they just sat down, and to your point, Chris, they saw this storyline isn't working.
Yeah.
The audience doesn't feel like he's this big threat. It's we've set him up where we've given the audience no reason to fear him. I mean, yeah, he said, are you the one with the, I've killed so many Avengers. Oh, that's great. He said that, but we never felt it. And again, they had him lose to Team Ant-Man,
Yeah.
which it just kind of killed it. So I wouldn't have been surprised if they just killed off and stopped the Kang storyline, even if it wasn't for the legal problems that Jonathan Majors had.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Again, we can't say it's not true. I'm just telling you, I don't believe it's true until we get something more official. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? There's a rumor going around. Remember, we're filing this one under rumor mill that Kevin Feige's actually looking to rehire Jonathan Majors to clean up loose ends. Does anybody feel like there's actually loose ends to clean up? Why on earth would Jonathan Majors want to at this point? Can't we just look forward to magazine dreams? Anyway, whatever you guys feel about this, jump down into the comments section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to this, shall we? Well, we're heading into the Super Bowl, which means a whole bunch of trailers are going to be dropping. Yesterday, we got Fantastic Four. Good news, everybody. Tomorrow, we're getting Smurfs.
Oh,
Hold
nice.
on to your ass cheeks, because tomorrow, Smurfs drops their first official trailer. Yeah! We're so excited about
Can
that.
I let go? Because I can't switch cameras unless I let go. I'm still holding on.
Are you holding it open?
You told me
or
to
closed?
hold on.
Both hands, like your life depends on it.
Oh.
Oh my God,
Let
it's
go.
coming.
I had to do it for the show.
So today,
Really?
though, was not the day for Smurfs. Today is the day for dinosaurs, as Jurassic World Rebirth launched its first official trailer. Now, this was not your traditional, what is today anyway, the trend of first trailers, which is really more kind of see a bunch of stuff, don't hear a bunch of stuff, more conceptual. This is going to give you the feel. And then in later trailers, they give you a little bit more meat. No, they went full on exposition.
It was a little too much for me. But...
Yeah, maybe. And this one's like, okay, so the dinosaurs are now kind of confined to this island, was the original research facility. We think we found a breakthrough cure, but you got to go there. We got to get samples. And oh no, something goes wrong. Now, I have said before that the Jurassic series has basically become a zombie franchise. Every zombie movie is basically the same when you break it down to its core parts. Jurassic World movies are the same, but they can still be fun. Bunch of people on an island. What can go wrong? Oops, something does go wrong. Now we're running from raptors. And some other kind of new creations of these. And I'm going to tell you this. This trailer did not blow me away. Did not blow me away. But I liked it. And you know why I liked it? This is going to surprise you. It kind of had a Skeleton Crew feel. It felt like the original Jurassic Park to me a little bit. It felt like an Amblin Entertainment, little more of a 1990s kind of feel to it. It had a little bit more of an adventure feel to it. And I'll tell you what, I am on board. Not super excited, but I'm on board. I can't wait to see more. Now, what'll be really cool is if it turns out the Mahershala Ali's character is actually Blade. And he's just had enough of these dinosaurs. He should jump up on a T-Rex and bite into his neck.
I was gonna make this same joke.
Oh, were you?
Yeah.
Sink his fangs into the T-Rex's neck.
Both of you, huh?
Yeah,
That'd be
just
awesome.
for you, baby.
Both of you.
But you know what? I liked it. They came up with a plausible premise. Hey, listen, we think there are medical advantages to be done here with these dinosaurs. Need to go there. Although it is funny. It is funny. At one point, it's like, no, international bodies don't even patrol that anymore. Why? Because no one's dumb enough to go near there. Cool. Let's go and let's bring my kid.
Nice.
So I'm okay, sure. But you know what? Scarlett Johansson's there, so all is forgiven. So yeah, listen, I wasn't blown away by the trailer, but I liked it. It gave me some really good original Jurassic Park vibes, and we'll just see what happens in the upcoming trailers. Chris, you had a chance to watch the trailer. What did you think about it?
It's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine. I mean, this didn't do anything to really blow my hair back, but it's fine. It's dinosaurs that are going to eat people, and a lot of those people are really hot. I'll see this movie.
John, you said this gave you 90s vibes. It definitely, I agree with you there, but unfortunately, it gave me Lost World vibes. So I'm a little nervous.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Especially with the kid, bringing the kid, and now she's going to be like a gymnast, and she's going to flip around and kick a raptor. And oh boy.
Yeah.
Now, I think it was the first or second Jurassic Park. I think it was the second one where Jurassic Park had the balls to have the dog die. Remember, the guy looks outside and the dog, just the dog's chain is hanging out of the dinosaur's mouth.
All right.
Well, they have the balls to have the kid die. Now, listen, what they need to do.
If
I
they
can
don't
tell
want
you
to be
what
Lost
they need
World,
to
they
do.
will.
When they take that boat in, that boat needs to be filled with dinosaur fodder.
I thought you were going to say dogs.
No.
That's messed up.
We got all the dogs. Where can we load them?
It'll distract the dinosaurs. So, but
Horrible.
they need to bring, like, I want there to be like 30 people on that boat, because I don't want to see one or two human deaths. I want to see multiple people dying in different ways, being stepped on to being bitten.
This might be the only time I will agree with you about that kid dying, because if anyone's stupid enough to bring their kid to an island,
You deserve to have them go.
yeah, I mean,
To any
come on.
island or this island?
This island.
Okay.
Really? You're going to
I'm-
Hawaii on a vacation?
Kid's
Losing.
gonna kick the bucket.
I'm not too knowledgeable about the Jurassic World dinosaurs, but that thing inside the red chamber that they showed, it doesn't look like a dinosaur, does? Like from, or
It
is
looks
that
like it's
maybe,
some kind of
or
hybrid.
maybe the outline
It's
of
some
him,
mutated thing,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
right? So they're going on with this non-real dinosaurs that they're using, right?
Well, it always feels like they
Maybe for a
need to
touch.
change it up a little bit. And
Yeah.
listen, I've always been forgiving of that because the whole premise of Jurassic Park is, hey,
All right.
we're playing with DNA.
You're right.
Like, remember, even in the original Jurassic Park, it wasn't pure dinosaur DNA.
Yeah.
They even said in the whole, what was the name of the animated DNA character?
All right.
I can't remember his name. But he said, listen, there were pieces missing, so we took other DNA
Isn't he
to
just
mix.
Mr. DNA?
Yeah, isn't it Mr.
It might be Mr.
Okay.
DNA.
Yeah.
So that we even had to take other things of DNA to fill in the gaps.
All right.
So,
I
like,
know DNA.
I love
There
the
it
voice
is.
of that
There
character.
you are.
I want them to just not be cowards and show an accurate dinosaur. I want it to just be a big angry bird that's covered in feathers.
Well,
Stop giving me these lizards. That's not how they look.
they've already gone down this path.
I know, but
So
maybe
they gotta
that's what's
stick
in the
with it.
chamber. We're going to find out it has a bunch of feathers.
And why are they climbing down a cliff? Don't they have a helicopter there? or something?
Well, clearly
dinosaurs
something happened to
ate
the
it.
helicopter.
It's covered in feathers. They call it the Fabulous Rex.
It's weighed down by
I
all
would
the
love
dogs.
Just a dinosaur with
Possibly
a
not.
boa.
They're just like,
You're luring them in with the nicest animal in the world. the
Now,
dog.
I'm going to go out on a limb and guess how this movie ends. That there's going to be 2 or 3 survivors, and they make it to the beach as the rescue helicopters arrive.
Does
So-
Blade make it?
And what's,
Does Blade make it? No, really.
I'm going to say no.
Mahershula?
I don't think. Yeah, I don't think. He
Yeah.
does
I don't
either.
think he makes it.
But
unless
you know,
he has it in his contract that he does.
in this trailer, I really like this. The character, it seems like he's playing is like the very smart, but can handle his own shit. Like don't go there, but I'll go there with you if you need me there. I don't know. It's like he this cool confidence that he always has. I just got to get that Blade movie.
Listen, again, was this great? No. But was it enough to catch my interest? I'll say yes.
Still no for me.
I mean,
Still no for me.
I don't think it's going to be a Smurfs trailer. I mean,
Oh,
This might be
man.
This might be the first time I'm watching a Jurassic World movie for the Mahershala and Scarlet instead of the dinosaurs. So far.
yeah. And by the way, an interesting discussion broke out in the live chat before the show started. Like, somebody was saying, like, they better focus on the dinosaurs and not the stupid humans. And that is an argument that we'll often have with, like, say, Transformers movies. But I brought up in the live chat, I said, guys, like, the original Jurassic Park movie, which I think we all agree is still the best one.
Oh, yeah.
I think most people agree that's still the best one. That was very human-centered. That was the human story in the environment of the dinosaurs, right? And so if that is what they did with clearly the best Jurassic Park, then the way to make this movie great is not just to focus on dinosaurs eating each other. It's to have a good set of characters who are thrust into the dinosaurs' environment. Again, it's just another zombie movie. It's the exact same thing. And now have to figure out a way to survive. Why they get picked off.
That makes more sense. I was like, focus on the dinosaurs. They want their gritty backstory. Like, what do people want? Now I understand. Now I'm caught up
Yeah,
to
see,
speed.
the
I need to
T-Rex,
drink more of this
we
coffee.
find out that the T-Rex's father was never kind to him.
Oh, man.
And it made...
But then a Stegosaurus also had a mom named Martha, and they joined together.
Yep.
Yeah.
And one of them had a drug problem as a kid.
Ooh, rough.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think it does need to be... And I think some people are saying, this doesn't look any good. It looks like it's going to focus too much on the people. That's what the first one did. And it was the best one. So it's not about whether or not they have attention on the humans. It's about whether or not they do the humans well and give us fun characters and give us great kills. Again, very much like the zombie film kind of thing. Because you can have like another boring paint by numbers zombie movie, or you can have Train to Busan. Right?
Ooh.
What are you thinking?
Culture Healers in the chat gave a great comparison here. I need Jurassic World to level up like Monarch.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's a really great way to phrase this. Give me a compelling story about these humans and have me invested in them, but then give me these really interesting dinosaurs that I love watching them just tear shit up.
Monarch is the perfect example to this.
Yeah.
Because
Well said, Culture.
Monarch was so good.
That
And
show was amazing.
I know a lot of people were worried. It's like, if this is going to be, I want the show to be about Godzilla and the Titans, not about, well, they made it about the people, and it was great.
Yeah, the mystery about the absent father too was really.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
That was a
where
really
is he?
good
Come on,
storyline.
where is he?
That was a good storyline there,
Loved
too.
it.
So I don't know. Maybe one of these guys is,
Has
what's the actor from the first one again? What's it? He was in Hunt for Red October as well.
the
The main guy.
main guy.
The main guy in the first
Jurassic
Jurassic,
Park.
Park?
Yeah.
Sam Neill?
Thank you.
Okay.
Maybe one of them is Neil's kid or something like that.
Jonathan Bailey could be his son. And if anything happens to Jonathan Bailey,
He brought the dogs.
Oh no!
Although it does seem like they're trying to separate this one now from the Jurassic Park and the Jurassic World era.
Yeah.
They should.
It's a new thing.
It's
But it'll be interesting to see what they do. Anyway, guys, question is for you. Did you have a chance to see the new Jurassic World Rebirth trailer? If so, what did you think about it? We weren't thrilled with it, but I thought it was pretty good. Chris thought it was
Meh.
okay.
It's a movie.
It's a movie. Are you excited about it? Whatever you guys think about it, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, it's now time for us to move on to the most important part of our show, which is, of course, taking your live comments and questions. But before we do, we're going to take another quick moment here and thank another sponsor of today's episode of the John Campea Show podcast, our friends at PrizePicks. Hey, guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of today's video, PrizePicks. All right, guys, the biggest football game of the year is almost here. And if you're like me, you're looking for a way to make it even more exciting. And that's why I use PrizePicks, the best place to get daily fantasy action. With over 10 million members, it's the easiest and most fun way to play. Here's how it works. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players' projections, and then boom, you're in. You think Patrick Mahomes will go for more than 250 passing yards? What about Travis Kelce rushing for more than 1.5 touchdowns? Pick your lineup in under 60 seconds and you could win up to 1,000 times your money. Ann and I have both been playing PrizePicks all season. Let me tell you, it has been a lot of fun. This week, I'm rolling with Saquon Barkley rushing for more than 100 yards and at least 1 touchdown. The best part, even if one of my picks isn't perfect, PrizePicks Flex Play still lets me win. Sign up today and get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. So download the app today and use the code CAMPEA to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks. Run your game. And thank you to our friends at PrizePicks for sponsoring today's episode of the John Campea Show podcast. All right, guys, without that down out of the way, let's get on to your live questions here, shall we? Johnathan, what we got up first?
Okay, first up we got Stubble McShave, who says, looking forward to Andor Season 2. It releases in April. Do you think there's any chance for a spot on Super Bowl? Andor is one of the few Star Wars properties I still have a sense of hope for.
I don't see any reason to promote it at Super Bowl. It's a television show. You market those things differently. I think if the Super Bowl is being broadcast on ABC, which is of course Disney owned, part of the same family maybe, but no, I don't really see. You market television stuff differently than you market movies. So my guess is an $8 million 30-second spot for Andor. No, but I am also very excited for Andor Season 2. It's the best thing Star Wars has ever done since Return of the Jedi. All right, what's next?
Cody Hunt says, what happened to the president in Secret Wars? Didn't he declare war on the Skrulls at the end of Secret Invasion? Are they just ignoring that storyline for Brave New World?
I think they're all just like, let's just all forget about Secret Invasion.
Yeah.
By the way, he's not even the president anymore. We're about to see the Harrison Ford president. Like, what happened to that president at all? Who knows? It's just a bad memory. Look, we talked on the show the other day, or at least last week sometime, that I don't think we're ever going to see the Kira character ever again. I don't know that for a fact. I'm not reporting that. I'm saying that's just me as a guess, given a guess as a fan. I think they are just very quietly going to ignore everything that happened in that show. All right, what's next?
Blaine, how you doing? Melvin says, hey, John and crew from Scotland. Been listening to the show for about 3 years, and I tune in every morning.
Oh, thank you, man.
To me, it's like having a catch up with some old friends, and I wouldn't have it any other way. Bring on the filthy. Have a great day. And I love Scotland.
Oh, have you been there?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
I've never been. I've always wanted to go to Scotland.
Yeah. Landed in Glasgow and rented a car. That was the first time I ever drove on the opposite side. Hopped on the freeway and said, let's go. And yeah, we did a whole few days, a whole circle of Scotland.
Ever since I saw the first Highlander, I've always wanted to visit Scotland. All right, what's next?
Brad Player, we got a 1 of 5. Hey, John and crew, I was a cast. Oh, this is interesting. I was a cast member on Squid Game: The Challenge.
Wait, does that say he tipped $337?
Oh my gosh!
Holy crap!
Yes, he did. Thank you so much.
He won,
dude.
He won. He won Squid Game.
That he went Squid Game.
That's it.
Dude, that is incredibly... Thank you for supporting the channel on that level, man. That's incredibly generous of you. Anyway, let's get back to his question.
All right. So 1 of 5. Hey, John and crew. I was a cast member on Squid Game: The Challenge, hence the name. 337. That's why you tipped 337. Wow, thank you.
Oh, cool.
I was the captain that won the first battleship game,
Really?
eliminating the jock player for 3-2. That everyone seemed to hate. They are currently filming season 2 this week. Has brought back some PTSD. It's pretty intense. Filming red light, green light took 9 hours in the freezing cold while holding in place for 30 to 45 minutes at a time. We weren't able to feel our toes and fingers with no food for 24 hours or restroom breaks.
For 24 hours?
Man, I wonder if anyone like wet themselves, especially if it was cold. Goes on to say, while the dorms, I never saw sunlight or moonlight for 2 weeks. I didn't know what day it was or what time it was. That's crazy. Our tracksuits were never washed, so we wore the same dirty clothes daily.
Oh my God.
We only ate 600 calories a day of the most disgusting food you have ever tasted, and most people even lost 15 to 20 pounds. Production had a huge box of condoms in the bathrooms that were used not for sex, but as lubrication for lip balm. Since we didn't have access to chapstick, I started to feel like I was in the real game. I've been a fan since I was eliminated 2 years ago and appreciate everything you do with the joy you bring. I still remember the sound of 200 people snoring in the dorms, but now I sleep easy because of your show. Thanks. Well, that's incredible.
First of all, if this actually is that person, because you never know what somebody might write in, then that's awesome. That is, now I heard that there were some harsh conditions, but like to me, my thought was, because the way it was reported before was just kind of like, oh, it was kind of cold. I'm like, dude, I'm Canadian. You guys don't know what cold is. But like out there standing still in the cold for 40 minutes
is a long time to
only
just
given like 600 calories a day to eat, having to use condoms as
like lubrication chapstick.
As chapstick?
It felt like Survivor conditions.
That's
a
like when these stories like these first came out, like you hear some stories that are similar to this that come out of like some of the Mr. Beast stuff and everything.
Right.
I think, well, like you're competing for this huge prize, and it's up to you if you want. But that sounds straight up illegal.
Yeah,
like this sounds like straight up illegal conditions.
Yep.
Like somebody can really get hurt. I don't know. That's stunning to me. If it was indeed that harsh, those conditions.
Yeah. And imagine going so far into the show and then losing because you went through all that anyway.
Yeah, because didn't the show have just like one winner?
Yeah.
Right? It's not like everybody. I mean, hopefully all the contestants got something, but man, that Battleship game episode, I think it was one of my favorite episodes of that show.
And thank you for eliminating that one, dude. Thank you.
Yeah, and on behalf of everybody else, on behalf of everybody in the world, thank you so much. But, you know, the Mr. Beast stuff that's been coming, and I never talk about other YouTubers and stuff like that, but it was in all the major news that, and I don't watch Mr. Beast videos, so I don't know how valid these are, but with all the stuff that's come up about the conditions that people like players and contestants in various Mr. Beast videos are going through. Like this sounds like this is the worst account I've heard for something like this. Like that's crazy.
I'm very curious, especially if, like, you know how some shows they'll bring back favorites who didn't win. With what he wrote in, does that mean like if they offered it, he probably wouldn't do it again? Probably. It sounds like he wouldn't do it. It sounds awful.
I wouldn't.
It actually sounds awful. But at the chance of that amount of money,
you probably are not
I'm very
allowed-
curious to see if he would actually go back.
You probably wouldn't be
and play
allowed to do it
again.
again because you have an advantage. One, you've been battle tested, so you know what's coming your way mentally. But then you also know a lot of the games unless they change them all.
Well,
up.
like Ray said, like some of these shows will sometimes bring back, like Survivor will sometimes bring back past favorites.
I would love the mom and the son.
The mom and the son thing, that was a really great one.
Right.
Like people love them as well. Like, you know, it's funny because when I got to admit, when they announced that show, I said, this is stupid. I ended up liking that game show more than I liked Squid Game itself. And I really like Squid Game.
We watched
And I
every
ended
premiere, huh?
Yeah.
We
I
look
mean, I
forward to
got
it.
hooked on it.
Yeah.
I got completely hooked on that show. Anyway. All right. Thank you again, man, for writing in and sharing that story and supporting us on that level. That's incredibly generous of you, dude. I wish you were player number 17976587112 because That would have been a lot more. All right. All right. What's next?
Oh, now I get it.
Yeah.
Okay, I get it.
T Magic Infinity says, "Hey John, love the show. Quick Fantastic Four theory. In the trailer, Ben asks Herbie, how's the sauce coming? So what if he actually serves him dinner in the movie and casually drops it's clobbering time, like while dishing out food?"
I cannot see Kevin Feige, a Fantastic Four fanatic, wanting to drop the iconic Ben Grimm line, "It's clobbering time,"
Over pasta.
over pasta. I don't see that happen. By the way, I'm not saying that was the best part of the trailer, but I love that part of the trailer because clearly, if that wasn't Ebon Moss-Bachrach from The Bear, I don't think that scene's even in the movie.
That's
Yeah.
what
That
I
was
was
a
thinking.
clear
From the
shout
bear,
out
right?
to the, yeah.
Okay.
That was a clear shout out to the bear. And did you guys see that fan art that who's the
Boss Logic.
Boss Logic put out?
Yeah.
With him in the bear kitchen.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I personally, as somebody who did, like anybody who didn't watch The Bear wouldn't get it, but I thought that was hilarious. I thought it was great. All right, what's next?
All right, Amin says, "In my culture, death is not the end," quoting T'Challa. "Again, my deepest condolences to you and your entire family, John. I'm truly happy to hear that you were able to spend one final day with your mom, a gift not many people have the opportunity to experience."
No, and I'm very aware of it. I'll get personal for a second. I was very aware, like when I got the call from my sister, my mom has been in kind of bad to really bad health for about 3 years. And we've had our scares over those 3 years and our encouragements over the 3 years. It's been an emotional roller coaster for 3 years. But when I got the call from my sister saying, you better come home right now. I didn't expect that I would get home in time. Fortunately, I did. And me and the whole family got to spend a really good day with my mom. She was really very coherent, very present. We were able to have conversations and joke and tell stories and things like that. And then she passed away the next day. And on kind of a personal note, I haven't had a breakdown yet. And I think I figured out it was last night. Ann and I got home. We were at LAX airport waiting for our ride. And it hit me that I hadn't really broken down yet. And it hit me why. It's because I've been more concerned. Like even when flying there, I was really more concerned about my dad.
Mm-hmm.
Who lost his best friend of 57 years. And I've really been I've been just totally, and I talked to my siblings on everything in the last week for me has been about my dad. I've been worrying about my dad and how my dad's going to handle and all that kind of stuff. And I realized last night as we got out of the airport and we're standing there waiting for a ride, I hadn't really had, give me a moment. I hadn't had the opportunity yet to really process it myself.
Right.
I've tried to be there for my sisters if they've been going through it. And I've been thinking mostly about my dad. That is still my biggest concern is my dad. I'm still worried about that the most. But it hit me that I haven't really had the chance to just sit down yet. And as I said to Ann, feel sad yet. And I have a feeling I'm going to be a bit of a mess when I do. I'm going to be a bit of a mess when I do. But again, thank you for your well wishes and thank you for that. And again, to the entire community who's been so overwhelmingly gracious and wonderful. And I appreciate you all very much. All right. What's next?
Okay, we got Bry Guy says, "Hey, John Campea, my choice for X directors are Justice League as either one of the few DC films James Gunn directs himself. Opinion number 2 would be J.J. Abrams. Opinion number 3 would be John M. Chu, who did Wicked. Opinion number 4 would be David Leitch from The Fall Guy, and Brad Bird. So these would be the DCU Justice League directors.
Yeah. I mean, well, listen, it's so hard to say. We haven't seen 1 minute of an actual DCU movie yet.
Right.
So we have no idea who would be the right director to bring a Justice League movie in this cinematic universe when we haven't really gotten a feel, other than a Superman trailer. We haven't really got a sense of the DNA of this thing yet. Now, unfortunately, Brad Bird had a real rough. Remember, he did that one with George Clooney.
Right.
What was it? Tomorrowland.
Tomorrowland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were promoting that at AMC when we were there.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, we remember we had the stars of
Yeah.
the movie come in and talk to us. He didn't have the best, most successful launch for a live action. For those of you who don't know, Brad Bird is, of course, most well known for doing The Incredibles.
Yes.
He also did Iron Robot or Iron Giant.
Iron Giant.
He also did Iron Giant. So his transition, we haven't gotten a track record yet of success for Brad Bird yet going in there. I don't know about J.J. Abrams. I like J.J. Abrams, honestly, but I don't know that he'd be the right fit for that.
Yeah.
I really have very little doubt that when it comes time for them to do a Justice League movie, and we could be 8 years away from that,
Yeah.
I think it'll probably be James Gunn himself. You know, he does the first film, and I think he'll probably end up doing Justice League, but we'll
Big
see.
Ensemble.
All right, what's next?
Well, he's great with ensembles. So, great Scott Bailey says, "I'm loving the positive Twitter posts I'm seeing the past couple days. I'm starting the hashtag now. Jurassic super fantastic. It's going to be great summer of movies."
I think so. I think we are in. I am so excited for the balance of 2025. I think we've got some incredible films coming. Again, Superman is right up there as my most anticipated, but I was sitting down going through a bit of a list, and I came across like 14 or 15 movies that I cannot wait for. Like, there's a bunch of movies I'm very interested in seeing and really curious to see how they are, but there's like 14 or 15 that I'm like dying to see. And I think you're right. I think we're in for a really good summer. All right, what's next?
Okay, we have a $20 tip from Anonymous.
Thank you.
Says, "Sorry to hear about your mother. I lost mine over a decade ago. That empty hole is never filled after all this time. Always keep remaining loved ones tighter as possible. Also, Emilia Perez sucks."
Yeah, I don't think the movie sucked. Like, some people have misinterpreted me. I don't think Emilia Perez sucks. I think it's fine.
Yeah.
It's all right.
It's fine, right?
Is
It's
that
not
go
like-
on streaming or something? Because I'm seeing a lot of videos on my feed just barely now, like giving their thoughts.
Is it on now? Anyway,
Yeah.
it's just not that good. It's definitely not an Oscar caliber film. I mean, there's some individuals in it who do some both in technical and like Zoe Saldana is fabulous in the movie. Absolutely. I'm just saying, but as a film overall, it's just not that good. It definitely should not be a Best Picture nominee. That's just my opinion.
So on the spot, which do you have a movie in mind that you would replace that with in the nominations if it were? Is there another movie?
Yeah, you know what?
I don't hate to put you on the spot.
I
But
just said it. Not which one? Because one of them did get it. I can't remember. There were two movies I was thinking of that didn't get the spot. Did Sing Sing get one of the nominations
for the Best Picture of 20,
Yeah, I can't. I kind of meant. Also, I don't think did Queer get a nomination for Best Picture.
No,
I
it
don't
did
think
not.
so.
It got a BAFTA, I think. But
Yeah,
not
it did get a BAFTA. I'm almost. Anyway, yeah. So,
Yeah,
but
none of those.
you know what? There's about literally.
Sing Sing or
There's
that
about
other
20 or 30 movies that I would have given that nomination spot to
sure.
over Emilia Perez.
Interesting.
Anyway,
Yeah, I'm still here. Nora, Brutalist, Substance, Doom Part 2, Wicked, Nickel Boys, Conclave, Complete.
that's right.
Unknown.
I was confused about whether or not it was Nickel Boys or Sing Sing didn't
Yeah.
get the nomination. I probably would instantly replace it with Sing Sing,
Yeah.
but it's just me.
All right.
All right, what's next?
Let's see. We got Byron says thoughts on Fantastic Four poster. Being a Where's Waldo of AI anomalies, the four-fingered flag holder, a duplicated woman with glasses, a top view camera held like as a rear viewfinder, and a gloved man gripping a flag like a chopstick. Is there part 2 to this? Oh. With a few tweaks, the poster likely took 30 minutes max instead of using a real artist. With the suspected AI artist run out of Artist Alley at SD Comic Con 2023, they could have done better. Long time listeners since the AMC days. By the way, I looked at what he's referring
Can
to.
you bring up what
Yeah,
he's
can
referring?
you?
Because I'm not.
I'm not sure I 100% agree with your police work there, Lou. But we can take a look here. Okay, the woman in the front, she's holding like a Hasselblad, and she's squinting because she probably has to get the angle and has to look through the viewfinder from a distance with this. So I kind of give her a pass. There is a duplicated woman. Where is she? She's right under the 4. See, right under that 4, that on the white flag, there's a woman with glasses. And if you look at the corner of that white flag, she's duplicated. Back.
Oh,
behind.
I see. Yeah.
Now that is duplicated. But where he's looking here with this front blue Fantastic Four, I think the index finger is actually pinching the thumb. You're just not seeing it. So you're 100%. Like I give the camera a pass, but yeah, they do definitely duplicated people in the crowd.
Yeah, I'll say this. First of all, this isn't going to be the main poster.
Yeah,
of
this is
Fantastic
just a launch
Four, right?
poster.
I had somebody write to me last night say, what do you think about the controversy surrounding the Fantastic Four poster and them using AI to make... Okay, so first of all, let's let it be said, nobody at Marvel has said they used AI to make that poster. That's what they're being accused of. Again, it reminds me a lot of that episode of Last of Us where everybody said, "Why? Look at how terrible that CGI giraffe is."
Right.
It's a real giraffe, guys. So whether it is they used AI to create that poster or not, I'm not saying they did. I'm not saying they didn't. Okay. I got to say this though. Who cares if they used AI to make a poster? I certainly don't care.
Yeah.
It's a piece of marketing.
Yeah, and it's for the launch. It's not even for the movie.
Yeah, it's not even like the official, but again, like take CGI animation. There's a lot. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not undermining because I worked in CGI. So I'm not undermining the incredible talent and hardworking people who work in CGI. But what I am saying is when it comes time to render, the computer does a lot of the work. I mean, yes, it's artists who make the stuff and set it all up. And a lot of these artists today are also engineers, by the way. Like they're practically artists and engineers. But I mean, even in Photoshop,
Right.
like Photoshop, a lot of work in Photoshop, it's Photoshop doing the work. It's like, oh, I want this blue sky continued over here. And you can just tell Photoshop, hey, in this area, extend the sky. Boom, it does it. Should Photoshop artists not be allowed to do that? Look, to me, it's just a tool and it's just for a piece of marketing.
Right.
And so why would I have a problem if the end result I got was the work of an individual who did it or a piece of AI? I'm not sure there's something to be upset there about. Again, I'm not making any broad sweeping proclamations here. I'm just saying, I don't know that I don't know that I have an issue with it, even if it was made by AI.
Well,
And now I might feel differently about that 6 months from now, but that's kind of my thought on it right now.
I'm along the same way. I don't know if you, well, so I know you remember, like, if you go along the road in Burbank, outside of Warner Brothers Studios, where Smokehouse is, they always have those massive TV show and movie posters on the
Alongside the
outside
wall.
of Warner
Yeah.
Brothers. Okay, years ago, up to about the early 90s, before those massive printers were invented, those were all hand painted. So it used to be a
Right.
thing that you would drive by and you're like, what are they painting? What's it going to be? Those massive posters to promote TV shows and movies were hand painted. And then one day they just switched to these massive printers and gone were those artists. And it was kind of a shame. But AI didn't take away a person's job any more than those massive printers took away that artist's job, you know?
Yeah.
There are advancements and that just happens.
Especially when it's something as stylized as that,
Right.
right? That wasn't something that AI was trying to trick you into thinking was real. Like that's a stylized art thing. Again, whether they did use AI in it, which we have no evidence to suggest that they did, or didn't, I don't really see why I would care.
Yeah.
Anyway, but that's just me right now. Ask me again in 6 months. I might have a totally different point of view. All right, what's next?
Forbidden says I forgot to put my name, but yeah, I just was the one that did the $20 tip. Giving my deepest condolences to your mom. Hope you take it easy for the week and enjoy some Super Bowl.
And Amelia Perez still
Amelia
sucks.
Perez sucks.
I appreciate that, man. Thank you very much. All right, what's next?
Jay says, with all these big trailers dropping before the Super Bowl, do you think the NFL messed up charging $8 million for a 30-second spot? Also, sorry for your loss. I lost my mom, uncle, and sister in the last 2 years. It's hard, so I hope you're doing all right. I think they still run them.
Wait, but why would the NFL? Why is the NFL messed up for charging $8 million a spot? What's messed up about it? It's supply and demand.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I'm selling something for $5 and a billion people line up for it immediately, I should probably consider charging $10 for
Yeah.
it or whatever. And by the way, it's not the NFL charging for
Right.
that. It's the TV network.
Yes.
The NFL gets none of that advertising money.
Yeah.
The TV network paid the NFL a huge amount of money for the rights to broadcast the Super Bowl. And now they are in turn charging advertisers to advertise on their broadcast. And guess what? If they're going to fill up, if you're going to sell out all the ads at $6 million, you're going to try charging $7 million. And if they still all sell out, you're going to charge $8 million. So whatever the sponsors are willing to pay. So it's not you and I buying the advertising spots. So, I mean, if they want to charge the advertisers and the advertisers are willing to pay that money, then they're going to charge as much as the advertisers are willing to pay. So I don't really see a problem with it. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But it's, hey, if that's how they want to spend their $8 million, that's on them. All right, what's next?
Anonymous says, what did you all study in college, university? The big difference I noticed between UK and USA is that we may live in student halls, shared houses, and flats, but we all have our own rooms. Was shocked when I found out USA you share your rooms. I think if you're like a senior, you can get your own dorm, but you know.
Yeah, my first school experience was Bible college, and I had a roommate. And you're right, it's just one room. It's just one. It was a decent sized room, but it was one square room that I had to share with a roommate. And that's a common experience, I think. So I was a theology student initially, and then later I studied law. So that was, and when I studied law, I just did not live in dorm. I had my own place. So that was really nice.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
Tristan Thorpe says July has the chance to be a big month at the box office. I haven't watched Jurassic World movie since the first movie. Dinosaurs just aren't my thing, but I have no doubt Rebirth is going to make all the money.
It's going to make a lot of money.
It's going to be a big month.
Now, is it going to be $1 billion film? It's got a shot. But even if it doesn't make $1 billion, it's going to make a lot. The last Jurassic World movie wasn't all that good, and it still made $1 billion.
Yeah, it wasn't that
People love watching giant dinosaurs. So it's going to make a lot of money, but I think this is going to be a pretty big year box office wise. I think there's a lot of big high profile films coming out that I think are going to get a lot of attention. So, and Jurassic is going to be one of them. All right, what's next?
Mitchell has a two-parter. If I was at Marvel, I'd recast Kang, but greatly reduce his role and essentially relegate him to the most unseen role of the Beyonders in the comics version of the 2015 Secret Wars, where they cause the incursions. Let Kang have a few scenes in Doomsday, but maybe Doom and Reed capture one of the Kangs who better to do it. But they're at odds with how to deal with the situation. Perhaps Doom wants to destroy every universe except theirs to protect it, while Reed wants to save all the universes.
But see, here's the thing though, and by the way, well thought out. But what I would say to that is you're coming up with a way to force Kang into the story. There's no need for Kang to be in the story.
Right.
There's just no need for it. And there's more drawback than upside. Because if you bring Kang back in now you're just bringing up the circus again. You're going to be bringing up the debate about Jonathan Majors, and you're going to be bringing up the everything else, and there's just no need for it. So instead of saying, well, we have to force Kang back into it, because Loki season 2 finished off the Kang story. Instead of forcing Kang into this story that it doesn't need him, maybe we just let it be and just move on from it and head into the new direction. We're hurtling now towards the X-Men saga. And it's just, I think it's best for them just to move on from it. There's just no need to have him there anymore. All right, what's next?
Stargirl says, I don't know about the Jurassic Park trailer, but I love Jonathan Bailey. He's becoming a star, and I think he would make a great James Bond. But you'll have people moan because he's gay. Shouldn't matter. He's brilliant, and my pick for Bond. He could also play a straight person. He's an actor.
I have never given 2 squirts of piss about what somebody is or is not in real life. Actors are actors.
Yeah.
That's why, like, when I hear people say that guy shouldn't be playing an American, they're Australian. So what? Actors play things that they are not in real life. Do you think whenever they do a World War II movie, they go out and find real Nazis to play Nazis? No, it's irrelevant. It's not pertinent. Once the camera starts rolling, the actor isn't there. The character is there. And whether that character, wait a minute, that guy's eating a hamburger in the movie. But in real life, that actor's a vegetarian. Who cares? It's irrelevant. The only impression I get when people bring up stuff like that is you are clearly looking for something to cry about.
Right.
Because when we turn on the TV, when we go into the movie theater, the characters on the screen are the characters. I don't give a crap about now. Yeah, like if somebody if an actor is a well-known actor for going around and beating women, okay, well, yeah, then I'm gonna have some issue with it. But I don't care if in real life they're a sports fan or not. That guy can't play the owner of a team in this movie. They don't even like sports. It's irrelevant. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Actors play characters that they are not in real life. The only question that we should care about is, do they effectively bring that character to life? That's the only question we should be asking. All right. What's next?
Anonymous is our final tip here. Have you guys seen The Brutalist? It was amazing. My favorite of 2024. Wild, it was made for 10 million. Good, it was made for 10 million. Brady said he knew the exact shots needed, so he built 20% of the sets to save money, and also said he used miniature models like in the original Star Wars.
I did not know that
That's
the
really
budget on
cool.
that movie was
That's
$10
crazy.
million.
It's good. It made 18, so it's about broken even, but there's still marketing.
How did you afford half the actors in that movie? Because
They
it's
had-
not like that movie was made with a bunch of no-names.
I think they must have just done favors like, hey, I'll do it. I just want to do this.
Anyway, we've talked about The Brutalist ad nauseum on the show.
Yeah.
I think it's a very, very good movie. I think the second half becomes a little bit of a labor to get through.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, I think the movie's very, very good. All right, what's next?
Okay, so we have our channel members here sending in some questions. Unofficial, I'm just gonna say unofficial. More so an observation, the final team shot of the Fantastic Four being a callback tribute to the Beatles' 64 show on the Ed Sullivan Show. The final shot.
I don't think that's when it's the four of them
Yeah.
standing there on that
Oh,
platform.
yeah. I didn't catch that.
Fantastic Four. I don't know if that's what they were going for, but you're not wrong. It definitely does have overtures of that.
For sure. I mean, it's hard to be in that era and not think of
Yeah, I mean, that's a good observation. Again, it's not what I see, but that's a really good observation. Anyway, all right, what's next?
All right, Matt says started watching Shrinking because of you, John. They do such a perfect blend of comedy and heartfelt moments. That 15-minute emotion practice is such a creative idea.
Oh, yeah, the one that Paul gives. Yeah, I don't want to give it away for those who haven't watched the show yet, because it is a really good. There's like, man, Shrinking is such a great show because not only is it a wonderful experience to watch with incredibly huge laugh out loud moments, almost like every 2 minutes, but also great emotional experience. It actually gives some really great tips for life and dealing with and managing and navigating life in it. It's a near perfect show. If you guys aren't on Shrinking yet, get on it. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
We got King Daddy Goat who says, "Hey crew, I have no idea who's on today's show. So hey to all, can you all believe that a lawmaker in Connecticut is fed up and wants movie theaters to post the real start time of a movie?
Oh,
This man is doing the people's work. You think this will become more common?"
You know what? I'll address this quickly here because I'm planning on making it a topic on tomorrow's show. I have been saying for years that I believe there should be a consumer protection law that simply says if you're a movie theater, you have to advertise when the movie actually starts because people are paying for something.
right.
They're paying for something. Now, if you want to show 30 minutes of trailers, okay, that's fine. But don't tell somebody, a consumer who is paying you money, that the movie starts at 7 if the movie doesn't start at 7. If you want to show a half-hour trailers, great. Say showtime starts at 7, movie starts at 7:30. You should tell people what it is they are paying for. There are consumer protection laws over almost every other product and service in existence. And I like this. And we'll go more in depth on it tomorrow.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
Okay, Saadul Hassan says, more likely to make more money in the U.S., Wicked Part 2 or Zootopia? I think Zootopia.
Easy. Yeah. Wicked Part 2 is going to make a lot of money. But Zootopia is almost a grand slam certainty it's going to be $1 billion film. So, I mean, anything can happen, But yeah, I would easily put my money on Zootopia 2. Now, what will be the better film? I'm guessing Wicked 2 will be the better film, but which one will make more money? Damn, man, people love Zootopia.
Yeah,
And
never
so-
bet against Disney or Pixar.
Yeah, it'll be there. All right, last question.
Yeah, final question here. Logan Vaughn says, which do you think happens more frequently? The Oscars give Best Picture to the best movie, or the Razzies correctly award the worst movie?
Well, I mean, two things to keep in mind. What is the best movie is a subjective opinion, right? So you can say, oh man, last year they gave it to the wrong movie. Well, no, they just didn't give it to the movie I wanted them to give it to, or you wanted to get, but doesn't mean they didn't give it to the most well-deserving movie. It's a subjective opinion. Second thing to keep in mind is that the Razzies are not meant to be taken seriously. They do it in fun. So I think more often than not, the Oscars generally get it right. Even when they pick winners that I wouldn't myself, as long as I go, you know what? I've got no problem with that. Like, yeah, I picked this thing to win. I wanted this thing to win. I thought this thing should have won. But man, the movie or the actor or the director, whatever you gave it to was damn good. So I have no problem with it, right? So it's all subjective. So it's either way you want to go with it.
Yeah.
And all right, guys, that'll do it for today's installment of the John Campea Show podcast. Thank you so much for being here, making our little show part of your day. Big special thank you to all you guys who sent in those questions. Number one, because you gave us great fun things to talk about. But number two, you supported this channel as you did it, and all of us involved with the show. Thank you guys so very much for your support. Want to thank Chris Carr, of course, who was here a little bit earlier. Ray Ora.
Hey, see you guys tomorrow.
Johnathan Voico.
See ya.
My name's John Campea, and until next time, my friends, bye-bye.